Welcome back to BorderDrip USA, your trusted source for U.S. immigration news, policy updates, and green card insights. What if I told you that a U.S. citizen was arrested under a law that a federal judge had already blocked? That's not a what if, it just happened in Florida. And if you're living in or even passing through the state, you need to hear this. Today's video dives deep into a disturbing situation out of Florida, one where enforcement, politics, and confusion collided, leading to the arrest of a 20-year-old American citizen. But this story isn't just about one state. It's a glimpse into where things may be heading nationwide, and why even those with legal status need to be more vigilant than ever. Florida's SB4C, a law meant to crack down on the undocumented. Earlier this year, Florida passed SB4C, one of the strictest immigration laws in the country. The law targeted undocumented immigrants and those who aid them, even unintentionally. It criminalized transport, housing, and access to public services for people without lawful status. From the start, legal experts warned it was overly broad, likely unconstitutional, and practically unworkable. Not long after, a federal judge agreed, issuing a temporary restraining order to block the law while its legality was challenged in court. But despite the federal order, Florida police kept making arrests under the blocked law. The shocking arrest of a U.S. citizen. Among those arrested, a 20-year-old U.S. citizen born in Georgia. He was pulled over, detained under the immigration law, and spent time in jail, even though he had every right to be in the country. He was eventually released, but not before enduring unnecessary trauma and national attention. This wasn't a paperwork issue. It wasn't a misunderstanding about visa status. He was a U.S. citizen arrested under a law that shouldn't have been enforced at all. A judge's warning ignored. Federal Judge Kathleen Williams, who issued the TRO, expressed disbelief that law enforcement continued to make arrests. In her own words, "When I issued the temporary restraining order, it never occurred to me that police officers would not be bound by it." The situation spiraled because the Attorney General's directive to halt arrests didn't reach all levels of law enforcement, especially local police and sheriff departments. That communication breakdown resulted in at least 15 arrests, all in violation of the federal court order. Why this is bigger than one state? This isn't just about Florida. Here's why it matters to you, no matter where you live in the U.S. States like Texas, Alabama, and Louisiana are observing how far Florida can push immigration enforcement. If this goes unchecked, other states may follow suit, passing similar laws that confuse local police, override federal authority, and lead to civil rights violations. If U.S. citizens can be mistakenly detained under immigration laws, what about green card holders? What about visa holders? What about DACA recipients? What this means for travelers and residents? If you live in Florida or plan to travel there, especially if you have an accent, foreign ID, or any non-citizen status, this next part is crucial. Don't travel without valid documentation. Even if you're a green card holder or citizen, carry ID that proves your legal status, especially during traffic stops or checkpoints. Disable Face ID or fingerprint unlock before traveling. Officers can unlock your phone without consent by simply holding it up to your face. Your messages, posts, photos, and even shared content could be used against you. Be cautious with social media. Immigration attorneys have confirmed that online posts, even retweets or memes, are being scrutinized during interviews, inspections, and detainments. USCIS crackdowns, interviews, delays, and enforcement. Meanwhile, under President Trump's second term, we're seeing USCIS ramp up enforcement from all angles. Interviews are back for most categories, even straightforward petitions. ICE agents have reportedly appeared at USCIS field offices during interviews. Marriage-based cases are being heavily scrutinized, with sponsors themselves now questioned for fraud and financial credibility. If you have a pending case or plan to file, this environment is no longer normal. Every small error can lead to long delays, RFEs, or worse, denials, and even NTA, notice to appear, issuance. The return of NTA risk. One policy that's been reinstated? The NTA memo. If your green card application is denied and you don't have another valid status, you can be placed directly into removal proceedings. Even minor mistakes, like forgetting a form or leaving a question blank, can result in immigration court and possible detention. That's why lawyers across the country are urging immigrants: don't file without reviewing your full history. Don't guess. Don't take shortcuts. Work permit and visa delays continue. Applicants are also reporting longer delays for EADs, work permits, and I-130 processing. Work permit renewals can now take anywhere from 1 to 10 months depending on the jurisdiction. I-130s filed in 2024 are still pending in many cities, with some F1 and F3 family categories taking up to 8 to 12 years based on the visa bulletin. And now there's a new threat coming from the State Department. State Department shakeup: what you need to know. According to a recent New York Times report, an internal memo suggests a massive restructuring at the U.S. State Department is underway. Key proposals include putting down non-critical embassies and consulates, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa, offering buyouts or layoffs to consular staff, a likely executive order from President Trump that may fundamentally alter how foreign service and consular processing operates. Senator Marco Rubio dismissed the report as fake news, but the Times backed its reporting with leaked documents showing plans to streamline or eliminate certain overseas operations. If you're in the middle of consular processing abroad, now is the time to push for document submission, request expedites where applicable, work with attorneys on potential mandamus actions to move stalled 221G cases. Action plan: what you can do right now. Let's recap what you can and should do to protect yourself and your case. File early if eligible. Waiting only increases risk. Avoid traveling if you have any legal history, even if charges were dropped. Use strong legal help to ensure every form is flawless. Respond quickly to USCIS requests. If arrested or detained, ask for a lawyer immediately. Final thoughts: when systems clash, people suffer. The Florida situation shows what happens when state law enforcement ignores federal court orders and when communication between agencies breaks down. It's not just a policy failure, it's a warning. When politics interferes with the immigration process, everyone is at risk, even U.S. citizens. You may follow the rules. You may have done everything right. But if the system around you is disorganized or weaponized, that may not be enough. Stay informed. Stay alert, and don't assume this won't affect me. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss any critical updates. At BorderDrip USA, we bring you the latest in U.S. immigration law without the noise or spin. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay sharp, and we'll see you in the next one.